Hello everybody and welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler here again for TCGplayer as always, bringing to you a pretty sweet deck with the Ravnica Legion spoilers starting to trickle on out. Doesn't Afterlife look pretty good? Actually, I mean, heck, by the time this video comes out, you probably have seen them all anyway, so scratch that. Either way, Orzhov is cool. It's my second favorite guild after Simic, of course, because Merfolk. So I'm playing Mono Black Devotion, but with a splash of white here. I don't know how much of a difference it makes, but it's something. In fact, it's extraordinarily good between Lingering Souls and the main deck and the sideboard. But we are playing Devotion. We are playing Phyrexian Obliterator. You can go ahead and look at the deck right here. We've got all the fun stuff. Thoughtseize, Inquisitions you'd expect. Victim of Night, Fatal Pushes for removal. Now, here it is. Obliterator in all its glory. 5/5 Trampler. Whenever source deals damage to it, that source's controller sacrifices permanents. Not great against Path, but very, very good against Lightning Bolt. Of course, we've got all the Liliana's removal, Gifted Aetherborns, Grey Merchants. That's a deck, and it's a pretty fun one. So definitely going to be enjoying this one. Lead things off with Inquisition here. And we'll see what our opponent's up to. Next turn we can just play our Aetherborn if we want. We'll eventually have a Lingering Souls. We've got options. Oh, and they are playing Burn. Well then, okay. This might be wrong, but I'm actually going to take the Lightning Bolt here. And maybe that's just as wrong. The thing is, if I take the Lightning Bolt, our Gifted Aetherborn next turn can just, brick wall the Goblin Guide or the Monastery Swift Spear. I'd really like that thing to survive. This might be a little risky, but I'm going to give it a shot here. I think because we're on the... Glad I fetched for a basic swamp there, by the way, and didn't shock myself. But because we're on the play, I think we can at least try to be this greedy. I mean, they have to find another Lightning Bolt, essentially, to deal with this. And whether Aetherborn is attacking or blocking, it's going to be very, very good against our opponent. Who, to be fair, has a pretty great hand. It clears that out. So we'll be getting Swift Spear or Goblin Guided this turn. I would assume Goblin Guided. Maybe we'll get lucky and get to draw a card here. It would be nice, I wouldn't lie. Yeah, Liliana, huh? Well, pretty good Liliana, at least. Take our 2. And, yeah, I mean, here we've got to knock ourselves down to 15. Hopefully we can find some lands after this. And I'm not scared of casting Thoughtseize, by the way. I think maybe that's a misconception. I'm not saying you want it after board or whatever, but the Thoughtseize is going to cost you 2 life and take a card from their hand. The card that you're going to take would have dealt you 3 at a minimum. So Thoughtseizing Burn is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you don't want to just go fire them off when you're going to, conceivably whiff on it. But in almost every other scenario where, it's not a race, where mana isn't the issue, it's cards that are the issue. So it's worth it to Thoughtseize for sure. I mean, I'm not dying to do it here. I'm kind of hoping this Aetherborn's just going to go the distance, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, okay, so they suspended a Rift Bolt. That means no attack this turn. It means we cross our fingers for land. And we hit a land. All right, so I like that quite a bit. Going to attack with this. Our opponent has the Rift Bolt suspended, so we may as well get our 2 life back while we can. Now the question is whether I want to Liliana here or whether I want to Lingering Souls. I could Liliana plus, keeping this from hitting us, going up to 4 counters. Yeah, I think that's probably pretty good here. We know they have the Swift Spear. We know they can... Yeah, I'm not too concerned here. I think this play's going to work out just fine. And because we get to keep their creature from doing much here, it means that almost no matter what they do, hopefully we'll be in a position to minus Liliana and get back the Gifted Aetherborn even. That's a play I could consider. Really, I just want to get lands and cast this Grey Merchant, but at least we're on the way to doing that in a pretty reasonable manner, I think, here. It's possible my opponent, they could have pointed that Rift Bolt at Liliana and then played the Swift Spear and finished off Liliana. Maybe that's not going to matter to them, but, well, okay, it really isn't going to matter, I guess. Wow, they have the... well, this is not going to work out at all. They have the Lava Spike here. And then they're actually going to be able to kill the Liliana. Well, that was kind of a disaster. And then we know they have a Boros Charm in hand. Wow, this game went from... You know, I didn't expect another 2-power haste creatures. Well, I guess another Swift would have done it. I didn't expect another creature there. So this is we're gonna pay the price here a little bit. Oh wow, Lava Spike hits Planeswalker? Huh. Who knew? I didn't. I legitimately didn't. That would have changed my line of play maybe quite a bit, to be honest. I didn't realize this thing gives it Planeswalkers now. Good to know the targeting rules, but even better to hit a land there. I like that a lot. I mean, Liliana gained us a lot of life. Our opponent is down to just a Boros Charm in hand, which I can take out if I want, which I probably will. Ooh. All right, now we're talking. Yeah, this game just started looking very good for us. I'm going to Brutality, and I'm going for all 3 modes here. All right, I'm going to choose them as an opponent. I'm going to choose this Monastery Swift Spear as the creature, I believe, is what I want to do. And maybe it's just better to hit the Goblin Guide. I'm not sure. I'll just hit the Goblin Guide. And I'll choose them, and then I will discard Lingering Souls and Thoughtseize, so definitely not going to be needing to Thoughtseize them anymore here. So look at this. We're going to take a creature off the board, go back up to 16, take the Boros Charm out of their hand, which saves us another 4 life, and now we get to flashback our Lingering Souls, and our opponent has nothing in hand. So this game has been pretty swingy. And keep in mind that Grey Merchant, even if it only gains us the 2 life from itself, it's also a 2/4 to block. And somehow we've made that relevant against burn. So I guess that's about as much as you can hope for. And my opponent's just gonna hook me up here, I hope. Yeah, they sure are. Yeah, this one might be over. Looking pretty good for us. We know that they just suspended a Rift Bolt. So we get to take out the Swift Spear, just losing 1 token here. Not that that matters. This Grey Merchant's gonna be what decides things, I imagine. I mean, maybe not. They could hit. They have the Rift Bolt, so they could hit removal for it on top of that. Rift Bolted in their upkeep and then draw step a Lightning Bolt. That would be pretty gutsy, I'll say. But they could do it. Yeah, I don't blame you for having to read this one, friend. But I'll gain some more life, and I'll poke my opponent down to 10. So slowly but surely we're getting there. And for what it's worth, we are now out of gas entirely. We have a land in hand. We have, our big body in play is a 2/4. But I think our opponent's going to have to send this Rift Bolt at... They're going to send it at us. And I guess that's as good of play as any. Alright, let's see what the draw step was. That was a Boros Charm. Alright, you got us down to 9. That's legitimately giving themselves some outs here. I mean, it's not like we have a fast clock. And it's the deadest of draws, so... and I don't even feel like I can attack with the Grey Merchant. Maybe we're actually in a little bit of trouble here. Our opponent's just 3 burn spells away, and while that would be pretty unlucky to have that happen to us, that is what their deck does. And we're nowhere near killing them. Pretty much, it doesn't take much for us to get there, but we have to, get something. That'll do it. I'm just going to do it now. That way I can attack. I don't have to worry about some weird block, lightning bolt line, whatever. In fact, we actually have this Inquisition. I can fire it off. I'm fairly certain there's just a land sitting in their hand there, but we may as well find out. That or it gets fired off. Yeah, okay. So that will probably get us there. It was extremely close, and I guess it's not over. Lightning Helix on the Spirit Token, something like that can make it last forever. But, all right, we get there. Oh, we're going to draw an Obliterator. That would have done it, too. That was a nice match. We move on to the sideboard here. I do like what we have. We have this Cabals, and that's huge. I wish that we had just more collective brutalities. We're pretty lucky, honestly, to draw the 1 there against them because it's just so insane against burn. All that said, I'm not sure that the rest of this is really any good. So, is Damnation better than something here? Is Damnation better than a Thoughtseize? It might be. We'll give this a shot, I suppose. I don't know. I feel like getting game one is, probably better for us than them. Burn probably doesn't have better matchups after sideboard, especially against a deck like ours. That said, I just took this list. Seth Manfield included in his article last week. And that's where it came from for everybody who wants to know. I know there's some YouTube drama. Everyone wants to know who created what deck, but I feel like I'm pretty honest about where I get the decks. Just like last couple weeks ago, I got this deck from Seth Manfield's article entitled 4 Wacky Modern Decks You Should Play. You should go check it out. Anyways, definitely keeping this one. So I like what we've got going on here. If only we had more Collective Brutalities. The list I grabbed only had one. If it was me, I'd throw a second one in the sideboard over pretty much anything. Because Collective Brutality, not only is Burn a very common deck, especially, maybe in paper, right, over more than online, perhaps, or in GP. Like, it's more of an F&M level deck, just in terms of popularity. Although it's very popular at GPs as well. But regardless, I feel like you may as well hedge against that matchup. You're most likely going to see it at F&M over the course of a week or two. All right, so let's think this one through. I guess it's just the Helix. I just want my Gifted Aetherborn to survive. Yeah, this game's looking pretty decent for us. I mean, if our opponent plays the Eidolon here and knocks us down, then we'll just untap. We'll play Fatal Push. We'll play Inquisition, get another card out of their hand. Then we'll untap and play Aetherborn and have Fatal Push. I mean, maybe that's correct. We'll see. My opponent's actually not going to take that line. They're playing Goblin Guide, so I'm probably just going to play the Aetherborn. Certainly no reason not to. Hey, look at that. We hit a land. Sweet land from Lorwyn, too. All right, so we'll go down to 15 here. But this is fine. I think our opponent's hand is... Well, they still have a land here. They just didn't play it. Interesting. Okay. So they've got a Bloodstained Mire in hand. And these are their 3 cards. Interesting. They went with the Goblin Guide there over being mana efficient. And I think that changes my line because now I just run this Aetherborn out. Because I don't have to worry about the Eidolon. I'm still on sort of the same Eidolon clock I was before, where it's always going to deal me 2 damage. I'm going to Fatal Push it, it's going to go away, and then I'm going to move on. But I didn't want to take 2 extra damage by playing an Aetherborn into that, in case they draw Lightning Bolt or something. We've just paid 2 life for no reason. But as it stands, the way it's working out instead, it looks like we're going to get to, have our cake and eat it too, or whatever analogy you want here, because... I mean, they are going to deal us 4 damage or 2 damage with this Eidolon. I will grant you that. We'll go ahead and take out the Eidolon. We'll pay our 2 life to it. That's fine. But we're going to get it right back by attacking with this Aetherborn. And regardless of what our opponent does here, I mean, we're in a pretty perfect spot because we just play another one. Next turn, we get to... I guess this is... Maybe the last turn we get to Inquisition them, but so I could Fatal Push plus Inquisition, but I'm going to be greedy here. I'm going to play the Aetherborn. And I say greedy, it's not even that greedy because it's a blocker, basically maybe our Inquisition is dead. But hey, is that the end of the world? And that's not even true because they have a Risk Factor and a Searing Blood in hand. And they're just going to give it to us because they can't get there. Look at that, everybody. We did it. We took it down. Orzhov Devotion. Ravnica Allegiance. I am excited about the guild. I'm excited about the set. And I'm hoping that it's going to have some cool stuff. I'm almost certain there are going to be new aristocrat type decks coming out with Afterlife and so on. Craig Wesco is going to have a brew or 2, I'm sure. Looking forward to it. Anyways, let's take on some more Orzhov Devotion our next match. See how we do. Hey everybody, we won another dice roll here, and this sort of hand is great on the play, and maybe not so good on the draw, but on the play, I love a Liliana hand like this. Inquisition into whichever Liliana we want. So depending on what my opponent's playing, this could be devastating for them, and would you look at that, it might be. So, alright, Bant Spirits, this will be a good match. So notably, our opponent has no colored mana, and they have an Ether Vial. And I have Sorcery Speed Planeswalkers, so I'll be taking that Ether Vial. I was going to say, I mean, Granted, Spirits plays at instant speed quite a bit, but this is just going to be so good for us. Because the thing is, even if they do hit their land here, which they didn't, so that they're in a lot of trouble. But even if they did, you know, the Noble Hierarch comes down and we just get a Liliana the Last Hope it. Which is most certainly what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to go ahead and fire off this other Inquisition anyways. Just to look at what they've got here. I want to probably just take out the Drog Skull Captains. Those are going to be the scariest thing we can face down as the game goes on, I think. I mean, heck, I guess we can just play Liliana's. Oh, yeah, we might just get a freebie here in game one. Which, hey, I'll take it. My opponent kept a... I mean, it wasn't even risky. You have to keep a hand like that. You can't play that deck and not keep that hand. But that said, most Bant Spirits decks are not playing Moorland Haunt. So our opponent is getting punished for that one, safe to say. So, is it just Liliana plus here? It definitely is. It's just Liliana the Veil, I think. Just too good when we have, you know, an excess Liliana here. And this will deal with the first creature out of my opponent. Or the Last Hope will. I mean, this game seems pretty difficult to lose at this point. Certainly not impossible. But Collected Company has a way of making games end when you think you have them locked up. But the way this is going, yep, all right. They've seen enough. All right, on to... What do I want here, huh? I guess the Anguished Unmakings. I wouldn't even say our deck is incredible against Spirits. I'd say it's fine. I'm going to cut a Grey Merchant, and I'm going to cut... I guess I'm going to cut a Gifted Aetherborn, maybe? I don't know how I feel about this sideboard. I love the Sony Silence, the Rest in Peace. I mean, I guess I wouldn't necessarily... It's the Fulminator Mages, I guess, that are throwing me off with this sideboard. I like most of the choices in this. And again, I'll go ahead and shut it out here. It was, I believe, Darth Kidd on MTGO who put up the 5-0 with his list. But it depends how you approach Tron. If you want to just concede the Tron matchup, use these for more Damnations, board wipes, more Collective Brutalities. You can hedge against, you know, I'd say if you play 2 more Collective Brutalities and 2 more Damnations or 1 more Damnation or whatever, you can hedge pretty hard against combo, not to mention burn with Brutality, while handling creature matchups like this one with more board wipes. These Fulminator Mages are in here for one deck that, I mean, we have some cards for already, right? We have the Damping Spheres. I mean, you can also use them for Escape Shift, right? They have other uses, but... And I understand that it's probably a pretty tough matchup for our deck already, but I don't like using the 4 spots there when I, you know, they're not even guaranteed. Fulminator Mage is already just mediocre against Tron anyways, whereas something like Damnation would be such high impact in a matchup like this, where we, you know, most certainly would want it. So, but that's fine. Obviously, that's why you play the games, and everyone's meta is different, and I'm certainly not the expert on Mono Black Devotion, although I've probably played it more than most people. But I like having all these discard spells in my hand. I can get behind that. All right, do I bolt the bird? That's the question. I don't think I do. Jeez. I just can't bolt the bird because I just actually have to play these. If I don't get value out of these spells, I can't possibly win the game. So it basically just comes down to that. That said, our opponent's hand isn't too incredible. We get the Supreme Phantom out of here, we might have a shot. I'd go so far to say if we were on the play, we'd be miles ahead. But all right, so safe to say some of these discard spells are going to go to waste. But our opponent, in theory, isn't going to have too impressive of a board when that happens, assuming they didn't, you know, draw Geist to St. Trapped or something unbeatable here. They're going to have a Mausoleum Wanderer, a Selfless Spirit, a Path to Exile, I believe, in hand. So it seems reasonable for us. They could also, if they really wanted, I guess, sack the Mausoleum Wanderer. All right, so their cards in hand are Horizon Canopy and Path. So got a couple to... Oh my gosh. Well, this is certainly one way to lose. That's for sure. All right, well, let's Inquisition the Path out of the hand. And I guess that's all we can do is just pass the turn after that. You know, we're not taking that much damage, I suppose. 3 damage. Our opponent, though, a lot of draw steps that we can't interact with here between the, the actual draw step and the Horizon Canopy, but... First decision here, and I think I just have to do it. I'm going to shock myself. Because I think I just have to have access to white to be able to play Lingering Souls if I draw it. We'll hit the Selfless Spirit here. This is going to be rough. All these discard spells in hand, no lands. I think the keep was fine, but drawing 2 more discard spells on top of that, pretty painful. All right, so we're going to get the Mausoleum Wanderer instead of the Selfless Spirit. That's fine. I'd love to go land Liliana the Last Hope. That's what I'd like. But I'd settle for just land. Let's start things off with a land. Hey, okay, fair enough. I can take that as well. All right, I'm going to fire this off. There's no reason not to here. I don't know what they could have. All right, they have nothing. That's what I expected them to have. But if it was a Spell Queller or something, obviously that's pretty relevant. So on that note, I'm just going to... No, I won't. I was going to say, I could Fatal Push a Selfless Spirit now. Technically, that leaves me taking more damage because of the Noble Hierarch. We can punish if they do draw specifically Spell Queller, I guess. Or Collected Company or whatever else. But we'll try here. We'll attempt a Fatal Push. I mean, if they have Spell Queller, they're gonna, they're never not gonna get us with it. But, alright, looks like it actually worked. So, all things considered, we're somehow in the game right now. And hitting land there, I guess, is a start. I don't know what we're... I guess hitting land there is the start because basically our best out at this point is going to be given the double mulligan basically with these 2 Thoughtseizes in hand. And I don't even think we got anything out of the last Inquisition. So we burned 3 cards this game. All that said, if we could get a Planeswalker into play in the next turn or 2, get a little lucky here, I think we'd have a good shot of taking it down. But let's see what our opponent's got. Could also go bad for us very, very quickly, very, very easily. They have so many hits at this point in the game. And Drogsoul Captain, I guess not one of those. All right, bring in the Noble Hierarch beats. I accept. All right, now would be a real good time to draw Liliana the Last Hope. Fingers crossed. Okay. Not quite Liliana the Last Hope, but not the worst thing I've ever seen either because, it's something, right? Most of the spirits are going to fly, of course, and I still think we're just miles behind because our opponent should be cracking this Horizon Canopy, and they finally do. But they just have so many plays right now that are pretty much unbeatable. That's a cool Plains. But anyways, as it stands right now, if we're taking 3 from the Drogsoul Captain, but we get a crack back for 2 and gain some life back, that's Devotion. If we just hit running lands, Devotion for Grey Merchant. Well, that was probably the worst draw on the deck. I say that. No, there's more 5-drops. There were plenty of worse draws, but it was certainly a pretty bad draw. More Thoughtseizes, I suppose, would be the ultimate bad draw. Somehow my opponent still has nothing, but the window just got to feel like it's creeping down inch by inch. The hinge is giving way. It's sliding. I can see the door closing. I'm sorry, I got more bad metaphors if you want them, but in the meantime, I guess I'll just get beat down by Drogsoul Captain. All right, our opponent has found something. It's not even that good of a something. Come on, deck. Give us a land. Basic land. That was not a basic land, as a matter of fact. How good of a... We just have so many cards right now that would just put us in such a great position. Lingering Souls would be insane here. just to land to cast Obliterator on that turn would have been. What if we played Obliterator that turn, taken 4 in the air here, and then next turn played Grey Merchant and just, you know, gained whatever that would be, 8 life, drain them for 8. All right, so our opponents have missed yet again. That or they've collected company. So this has got to be probably our last shot, right? I keep saying that. Oh my gosh, we're playing the game now. And you know what? That could be relevant because our opponent is at 7, which is conveniently how much power we now have in play. That said, this is probably, they're just spell queller this or something. No, they actually are. All right, they're paying costs. They're going to spell queller it and we're going to lose, but yep. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess I could hit land after that. Maybe I don't scoop quite yet. I could draw a Damnation that I couldn't resolve thanks to the Mausoleum Wanderer. It's 5-7, yeah, so we're not technically dead here. I'll get another draw step. I don't even... Oh, no, wait, does that kill us? That's still leaving us 1 short, right? Yeah, we're taking 8 now. I mean, we're obviously very, very dead here, but... Or we're going to hit a fetch land, so I can't even play the Grey Merchant. Just a little too slow, I think. I could Victim of Night the Spell Queller, get my Obliterator back, but I still take 7 in the air and I die. Just a little too slow here. All right, on to game 3. Let's see if we can draw a little better this time around. You know what? I actually want some Grey Merchants. All I wanted to draw that game was a Grey Merchant, to be honest. Obviously, I don't think we're going to get that unlucky again, so maybe I don't want the 5 drops, but... Is it better than an Obliterator? Our opponent's got, you know, pass in their deck. They've got things that can... I guess they don't really have creatures they can sacrifice at instant speed unless there's a spell for them to do that. But getting a Phyrexian Obliterator... Spell Queller is just very, very bad for us. All right, we'll give this a shot. Would like to go first. Well, this is testing me, but I think I'm supposed to mulligan this. Well, okay. Don't want that. Not that it matters. I'm fetching here anyways. I mean, that's how it goes, right? You don't want to... you worry about... You stress over the Obliterators, so you cut 1 to be safe, and you draw 2 of them after you have to mulligan. Yeah, and our opponent, well, maybe they don't have a perfect start either, so, hey, I guess that's something. We'll have our Godless Shrine here. Our mana will at least be perfect. Well, rather, should be everything we need. I don't know about perfect. I'll take a Thoughtseize at this juncture. I'm in. Oh, wow, my opponent's hand is actually just terrible. Oh, my gosh. Okay, well, I'm going to take the Supreme Phantom here. Leave them without a draw, without a play on this next turn as a current. Oh my gosh. Well, now I guess I just want to draw. I want my opponent to miss here. Don't play anything. Pass the turn back. Oh my gosh. All right. Now this is better luck than I could have hoped for. We need to draw a land to finish it off, but that looks like it might be our land. So now I get a pass. My opponent taps out for a Drogskol Captain. I anguish on making it, which does cost me 3 life. I go down to 14, but then, oh no, did they find a they found a Rattle Chains? I mean, it's fine. There's nothing I can do about it, but it is a clock that kind of works. Yeah, I was feeling pretty good here. If they tapped out, we killed it. Then we played Obliterator on an empty board, sitting at 14 life. That would have felt pretty good. This does not feel as good. Oh my gosh, am I going to get punished here? Did they really draw a Spell Queller to punish me? If so, they'll probably Spell Queller this. But the thing is, we might just lose the race at that point. Well, oh, that's Flash. I'm so stupid. I mean, I guess it's going to work out, but I am kind of stupid. I forgot about this. It's a hidden mode of Rattle Chains. The reason it's the best lord in the deck is that you can cast your spirit spells as though they had flash. So, all right, I guess it doesn't really change all that much. We play the Obliterator. And to be honest, I mean, I guess we would have still had that spell in our hand. So we didn't. I would say we made him play it, which would have been fine if we brutality'd it. But I think I just have to play creatures. It did at least tap them out. So we've got that going for us. But I don't know. If we're taking 5 and we're coming back for 5, see what they drew here. They drew the best possible card for him. I mean, I guess that's not exactly true, but it is extremely close to true. That was terrible for us. I was feeling pretty good about where we were at, and things took a turn. Things went down here very quickly here. And things we were never going to get them because they would have played this one with Flash in response and just blown us out that way. And look at that. Yeah, we're just actually dead. Even if I brutality to gain life, we're out in the air next turn. What an unfortunate game that was. I don't know if I could have played differently. I guess I could have just saved that unmaking, and then when they flashed into my instep, I could unmake it. But at that point, I've wasted 3 mana. I haven't played Obliterator on 4, and I'm just getting destroyed by Rattle Chains. That's why I said I knew we were in trouble when they played Rattle Chains on turn 2, because it would have been fine. That line I just discussed where, we basically have to waste mana and play in an unoptimal way. Also, it was the Rattle Chains. The Rattle Chains gave it flash anyways. We would have just hit in their main phase and then played that Obliterator on an empty board, which would have been in a completely different game. But that's why Spirits is the best fair deck in Modern, at least, I think. It's extremely good. Great deck anyways. All right, on to the next one. We'll see if we can do a little better. All right, more Orzhov Devotion here. We unfortunately lost a dice roll, and our opponent has the turn 1 Hierarch to punish us, but that's fine. Our hand would have been much better on the draw, or on the play, rather, like most hands, it turns out. But I think it's still going to be reasonable on the draw. As a matter of fact, I got somewhat excited about it now. So we get to take out our opponent's best creature with the Tracker, which would have just been terrifying on turn 2. Next turn, we get to... I mean, there's probably not going to be anything to Inquisition. That card's probably just never getting cast, to be honest. But we can at least... And let's see here. There goes a Windswept Heath. We can at least Thoughtseize away one of the companies. They have the pass, so we can Inquisition the pass. So this is actually going to be fine. Next turn, we can just discard spell them twice, see where things go from there. But I think this is going to be okay for us. And then hopefully on 3, we get to play Last Hope to kill this Hierarch. But they drew a very good card. It's a pretty nice one, to be honest. They just get a 4-3 out of the deal. That's why Knight of Autumn's a very good Modern card right there, everybody, because... we were in a pretty good spot before, and yeah, it's a little unlucky they drew, another 3-drop there, but all right, this is something for us here. Our opponent, we know what their cards in hand are, so I'm not going to play this turn. What I am going to do is just fetch out a basic swamp here, and stick to the plan of Inquisition and Thoughtseizing them as much as I don't want to, and trust me, I'm not very excited about it, but it is what we need to do if we want to have any shot at all. We'll leave them on just a Collected Company. Now, if we could just hit lands, this all might not be an issue at all. We could just play our Damnation and just ride that to victory, but things are going to get ugly pretty quick if we don't find a land next turn. Certainly, that is just so harsh. We kind of had, I think objectively a pretty good hand, specifically even against white-green decks like this, but gosh, Knight of Autumn just bashing us for 5 every turn. Now, this is a big draw right here. This is the one if we hit a land, and our opponent didn't even do anything. So, we need land desperately. The slower... Oh, we did it! All right. We got a shot now. We've got a shot. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and fetch out the basic swamp. I have Liliana's, I think, to a discard. I just don't want to do myself any damage here. So I think the answer is going to be to Liliana the Last Hope, take out their Hierarch, which has a lot of value, as long as there's not a Disaster Spell card here, which fortunately there wasn't. So the thing is, we know our opponent has Collected Company in hand, and we probably can't beat Collected Company, but if we can keep them from casting it, at least for a minute, we'll have something going on here. And yeah, I am throwing away my Liliana the Last Hope, but we're basically trading it for the Hierarch and the life, which matters. Scavenging is just so good, though. The hope, of course, was that we were going to be able to just play other Liliana this turn, take out the Knight of Autumn, and then untap a Liliana of the Veil. But I'd take a land right here. And the ability to just Damnation, get my clean 2-for-1. I will take it. Absolutely. All right, there we go. So that changed things for the better for us. That was pretty good. We are by no means out of the woods, though. That's for sure, because our opponent's final card is Collected Company. So either they draw a card they can play, or they draw a land to cast their Collected Company. And, you know, we have 2 cards as well. So, but we are going to be, you know, starting behind the 8 ball a little bit here. Bajuka Bog us, huh? Okay, fair enough, I guess. We have been... That's actually a disaster for them. Oh, no. Now I just feel bad for them. They're playing the 1 main deck Bajuka Bog because I would assume there's Knight of the Reliquary or something in their deck. So, but how painful is it right here? We have literally the perfect card in Modern to punish them. Liliana of the Veil. We get a plus Liliana. We just discard a card. Yeah, we've discarded Aetherborn. Don't want to do that, but we get their Collected Company because they did hit a land, but it was the only land in their deck that did not allow them to cast Collected Company that turn. But it also wasn't something to add to the board. So that was pretty rough for them. Courser of Krufix off the top here, giving them a chance, but Romnek Excavator even going to be pretty good, but this is just not going to work out for them right here. We get a minus to take out the Courser. Then we get to play our Aetherborn. Finally get our very anemic offense going here. We know what our opponent's going to draw. They're going to draw a Romnek Excavator, and that, I guess, will allow them to start chaining the Windswept Heath. You know, kind of clearing out their deck of basics, or lands in general, rather, while advancing their mana. But all in all, still not very good for them at all, especially now that I've drawn Lingering Souls. I'll discard the Thoughtseize we won't be using. Attack them with this, as we'll almost certainly get through, considering otherwise it's a chump block for my opponent. Lingering Soul is just the perfect draw, as it always is, as it turns out. But, yeah, if we can take game 1 here, and this is not over by any stretch of the imagination, but if we can take game 1, that's a nice start. We get to play the Lingering Souls here. We get to chump block the Excavator. Now, our opponent could hit Scavenging Ooze or something, but or, you know, even worse, Collected Company. So, yeah, this game is by no means over, but we're in a good spot right now, and they are in a position where if they miss on this turn, if they just hit a land or something off the top here, they're just in a ton of trouble, because at that point I get a Liliana minus for free. I get to have all my blockers and everything. You know, they need to impact the board right away. Courser of Krufix revealing a Birds of Paradise on top of the deck. Not exactly doing that, but playing the Windswept Heath out of the graveyard means I get to shuffle the top card. You can see the value. I mean, they call it Valuetown for a reason. All right, we'll throw away 1 Spirit here, and we'll put our opponent to the test with this Liliana minus. Keep in mind, there's still lots of good draws we could have to just really kind of wrap this thing up. Thoughtseize, however, not one of them. Discard fodder for Liliana later on, I suppose. I guess I may as well keep my Aetherborn back. It does very little to kill them this way, but this keeps Liliana alive, without chump blocking. And for what it's worth, my opponent untaps at 15 here. I have 3 power and play of Flyers. That's 5 turns. This Aetherborn, don't know if it would have done, I don't think that it would have killed any faster attacking with this, but keeping these back to chump. And now that our opponent knows they have land on top of their deck, even after shuffling and another one, yeah, they're in trouble here. I mean, they can get the 1 off the top for free with the Courser to dig 1 deeper, but this this Liliana is gonna start to do some work. All right, so I will plus the Liliana. Just getting a land from them, but that's fine. Playing out our land and attacking with our 3 spirits. Well, you know, if we don't ever find anything else, this game is not over. I mean, if my opponent finds threats and we spend every other turn Lilianaing the threat down while they keep digging, I mean, they could dig out of this, and there you go. Now there's a collected company on top. So they've got the Courser here. So we are actually, just like that, maybe even in a little bit of trouble here. But we have lots of great draws of our own, of course, and maybe we'll find one of them here. We haven't had a good draw in a while. Fingers crossed. Pretty good draw, I'd say. All right, let's plus the Liliana, I guess. Send in with 2 spirits, I suppose. I want to keep back 1 to chump, along with the Gifted Aetherborn. And the thing is, at least, as it currently stands, you know, this isn't a good attack for my opponent because, yeah, I mean, you take out one of my spirits, but you lose one of your coursers, and you still want to kill the Liliana, and I'd make you sacrifice another creature. All that said, we're just by no means at all going to win this game. I mean, despite being very far ahead, we're not anymore. And Ghost Quarter, even Mind Sensor, pretty scary in its own right. But we are going to get another draw step. Let's see if we can do something with it. Just absolutely not. I cannot do anything with it. All right, well, let's make him sacrifice a creature. Imagine this prompts him to fire off the Collected Company. This has been pretty rough. I mean, I think we've been like Thoughtseize, Marsh Flats, land, Lingering Souls, land. I don't know. All right, maybe we know they're going to get Native Mind Sensor, which is a little annoying with their Ghost Quarter, but mana not our issue this game. Just finding something to win the game is. Oh, no. That one might do it. Oh, my gosh. We might be dead now. My opponent gets to get a giant creature here, but even more dangerous is the Tireless Tracker. Honestly, what I believe my opponent should do here is Ghost Quarter themselves in the end step, so you get a fresh draw step and a clue, and they are going to do that, and they get a clue token, they get a crack. We're just dead. We just got green-white Valuetown on out of this one. I mean, we could draw our one. And basically, this is our out, I guess, at this point, is to draw our one damnation so that we can wipe the board cleanly with a Liliana in play. Look at this value, though. This is disgusting. I love this green-white deck. Neither Reliquary on top, yeah. What a cool deck. And a good matchup for us when we have a bunch of damnations. And honestly, it should probably be a fine matchup for us even with our game 1 configuration, but our deck has absolutely not cooperated. That said, I suppose this is as much as we could ask for. Our opponent is all in on their current board, and we get to try to draw damnation. Definitely just going to chump block. If we're playing towards damnation, may want to preserve my life for as long as possible, try to give myself 2 draws at it. Fatal Push, huh? Okay, well, I can push the elemental token. That deals with a problem, but actually the tracker might be even more of a problem. And I can't get Revolt for that, huh? So I guess that means I either do nothing with Liliana, and maybe I just do nothing with Liliana here, and use Revolt post-combat to take out Tracker or something. Because our only outs, I think, are... And no, I guess I could have kept that I should have kept that Isolated Chapel in hand and plus Liliana there. Ultimately, I don't think that is making the difference to this game, but to be fair, it is what I should have done, and I didn't do it. So, well, what we see from our opponent, I believe, is what we get. I don't remember. I don't know what they have in hand. They're going to attack. Let's see what we can do here. We might just be dead. I haven't done the math. Maybe not, though, with this Fatal Push. Bird's Paradise is coming in, huh? Well, that's terrifying. Oh, the birds is going to the Liliana, huh? And everything else is coming at us. Okay. Well, I guess I have a couple different blocking options right now. I could put this in front of the Courser. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to put this in front of the Courser. I'm going to put the Spirit in front of the Elemental. And I'm going to put this Spirit in front of the birds if my opponent's going to get cheeky like that. Because you know what? This is not lethal. So, although I guess my opponent can, with the Knight and the sacrificing, push it to, they could get 2 more out of it with a fetch land. They could push it to 8. That's still not lethal, and I'm going to gain life here. So I'm going to let this go as is and see what happens. Okay, so they're going to Knight. So now the problem with this, and to be fair, I knew this was going to be a problem, is that we don't have Revolt yet, and we're not going to have Revolt until after combat. So we have to survive the combat. But I think we can do that. Oh, they have Valuetown Township. Maybe we cannot do that. Wow. How cool is that? And we just got destroyed. The most value of the value towns. The Valuetown Township fetch with Knight of the Reliquary as a combat trick. Well, I guess I still have a turn to draw. Am I dead this way? I mean, I'm still not even dead here. I'm taking... Yeah, I'm not dead. This is fine. We'll go to 4. And there's actually no point to fatal pushing here because it is Damnation or Bust. But Damnation actually does a reasonable job getting us back into it here. Of course, it's 1 card in our deck. Alright, fair enough. We did not get there. What a good deck Green White is. I mean, Collected Company is a heck of a card. I don't even know what I have to beat this. I mean, I just want more Damnations, and at least with this sideboard, we don't have access to them. I guess I want the Anguish Unmakings. They just have so many threats. I even kind of like the Gray Merchants. I love the Obliterators. You know, I feel like our deck is honestly probably reasonably set up against them, even if that last one did not quite work out. Need to cut something, though. I'm going to cut... I'll cut Anna Making. I mean, honestly, we have plenty of removal. We just have to draw it. So maybe the issue was just our draws last game more than anything else. And I could cut a Lingering Souls. Feels terrible. It certainly, you know, it actually doesn't interact that strongly with what they're doing, but it is just Lingering Souls. So I think maybe a better option is going to be to cut a Gray Merchant. I mean, we're definitely the control deck here, so we want, you know, I can't cut, as much as Lingering Souls is against what the particular green-white deck is doing, they're going to get out on board. The Lingering Souls it's not going to trade off as much, but it's just too good to cut, so we're never going to do that. I'm going to mulligan this hand, though. And this one I'll keep. In fact, this hand's actually might be kind of reasonable. I don't know if I'm going to go so far as to say good, but it's certainly reasonable, and I'll keep that land on top. Let's see what we're up against here. Yep, that's value if I've ever seen it. I mean, oh my gosh, I have an Elspeth in there too. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear what I do here, I think, is I take out the Noble Hierarch, just slow him down as much as possible. You know, we actually know what we're working with this game, and while the Liliana can kill the Noble Hierarch, just slowing them down by a lot and just going Aetherborn into maybe even Arena, but probably Liliana, we can have a pretty decent setup against them here. I honestly, if I can get a chance, and we'll see what my opponent does here, but what I would love is for them to do something, you know, not incredibly impactful, and in fact, their hand, as we knew it, can't even do anything. So, and it looks like they actually drew that Windswept Heath, so we know there's 6 cards in hand. There goes the Forest. So, wow, they're actually going to do nothing. So I'm going to get to, completely for free, play Phyrexian Arena, which is certainly one of our ways to win the game. Phyrexian Arena into Liliana, I think, is going to be very powerful. Now, the problem we're going to have is the Elspeth. So before our opponent hits 6, we want to find another discard spell. But that is what the Phyrexian Arena is for. I think I can still just get a basic swamp here. We have this other fetch land to go get planes when we need it, but I don't need to deal myself any damage, since we will be taking damage from the arena after all. But it's going to go down to the Knight of Autumn here, but that's fine because this means the Liliana, the Last Hope, can kill the Knight of Autumn. And maybe that's the right play, maybe not, but I thought this was a pretty reasonable sacrificial lamb here, because Liliana is going to be the power permanent. You know, if they just make that a 5/4, maybe things go a little differently. Well, I have a new plan, and it's play Phyrexian Obliterator. Which is, Obliterator is actually going to be really nice here because, yeah, I think that's just what I have to do. I think I just have to play the Obliterator. And at this point, I probably have to shock myself as well. I could play the Liliana and kill this and try to untap with the Liliana when my opponent E-Witnesses or Rumneck Excavators. But I think that next turn they're probably just, I mean, gosh, I guess the scariest thing for me with them playing something like E-Witness. If they hit land, E-Witness, get back Hierarch, play Hierarch, ramp into Elspeth next turn. But that's all the more reasons I think we just have to play the Obliterator. Our opponent can't answer it. It's going to, and heck, I mean, it's going to swing for 5 at Elspeth, and they're going to sacrifice permanents when they block it. So, yeah, just getting this down it makes our Liliana maybe slightly worse, but it turns out it's a pretty good card all on its own, and Liliana is still going to be perfectly fine. And if they didn't hit here, you know, if this is what they have, and there's nothing wrong with what they're doing is very good here. But if that's all they have, I think we're going to be in a good spot. They don't have ramp to play the Elspeth next turn. They don't have removal for the Obliterator. Our Liliana's going to come in here and just wreck this Knight of Autumn down. Yeah, I think that I'm into this. So just pre-combat here, I'm just going to play Liliana. And heck, they can have the Rumneck Excavator. That's not my concern here, because they're going to be taking big chunks here. All right, so we'll take down the Knight of Autumn. Get in for 7. Gain life as well, so this is great, especially considering the land my opponent can recycle as a fetch land, and that life actually does matter because, hey, they just put themselves to 14, and we have 14 points of damage over the next 2 combat steps. So, oh no, they drew a path though. Well, that everything just changed, and that was a disaster. An unmitigated disaster, as it turns out. That was a pretty fortunate draw, I have to say. I mean, that's obviously what their deck is built to do, but that did not feel great because now, yeah, that we needed that one. We're not going to be able to pull this one out. Maybe I should have played differently. Maybe I should have played the Liliana first there, just plus it on nothing, and then my opponent plays a big Knight of Autumn that I hope to trade with the Aetherborn. I mean, and then I feel like they would have just played the Rumneck Excavator, started, just rebuilding their lands, and I don't know that it would have made a huge difference. And Collected Company here is also pretty disastrous for us. So, yeah, the Elspeth is coming down next turn. Scavenging Ooze is going to just be a problem throughout the entire game. So, gosh, I hate to say it, it's damnation or bust, but I mean, heck, that's what their deck is built to be, weaker against damnation than anything else. That said, Lingering Souls is not bad. The problem for us is going to be the Elspeth. I mean, the Elspeth is just going to come down and, in all likelihood, just win in the game right here. I'd love to trade Scavenging Ooze for my Gifted Aetherborn. Don't know if I think that's going to happen, but I would like it to. Wow, maybe it is. Oh no, they're going to eat my arena. Okay. And just take the 2? Sure. Alright, Liliana will take out the birds. And now we will Lingering Souls. So we're going to get all the souls out of it. I mean, maybe there's a path to victory here. Maybe we do enough damage to our opponent in the air over the next 2 turns to win the game. I mean, seems unlikely, but it's certainly possible. That said, I'm probably chump blocking the Scavenging Ooze every turn for the rest of the game. So I don't know, how quickly this particular set of tokens is going to get there. But, I mean, heck, I feel like it's kind of like last game where here it is late and we have some stuff going our way and our opponent has some stuff going their way. And if we draw a little better, we'll get there. We're not drawing better right now, though. Oh, my gosh. Well, double Courser is probably not what they wanted, but it's actually kind of insane because the land draws them life when we were hoping to chip them down. Oh, they get... Oh, my gosh. And they just net life now. It's Damnation or Bust. This deck is just so good. Well, you know what? Thoughtseize takes the Elspeth out. Oh, my gosh. Their hand is just so good. Don't really know what we can do here. I suppose I'll minus on the one of these on the Rumneck Excavator. Yeah, how highly do I want to value the Liliana? I just don't really think we're gonna be able to win the game, but I will. I guess I'll value it. Because I guess we really are just in sort of in the same boat where it is Damnation or Bust. So with that as it stands, I want to give myself one more draw step to try to hit it. Because if we get to block here and we get a Damnation with Liliana in play, well that's a start to a path back to victory. My opponent, for all that they've done and all the value they've gotten, and it is roughly infinite value. It hasn't necessarily yet been in the form of card advantage, all those Eternal Witnesses it's about to be. But I suppose that's basically what we're hoping, is that our opponent will Eternal Witness back Elspeth. We'll draw Damnation. Try to figure out how to win from there? I don't know. Oh, they're not even going to do that. They're just going to play into it here with Knight of the Reliquary. So, yeah, once again, Damnation looking pretty good for us. But also, once again, Damnation looking like pretty much our only out. And I may as well trade this off now because we don't have any outs but Damnation at this point with the tracker, especially with the tracker sitting there on top. Well, Phyrexian Obliterator, you say, huh? Okay. Well, you know what? That's actually kind of annoying for our opponent to deal with. I could minus to get back the Gifted Aetherborn if I wanted. Honestly, that might not be that bad because anything else I'm going to do with this... Well, I guess I still am guaranteed to get to untap with it if I want. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and plus it again. My opponent doesn't have any attacks. The problem is, I think that, we're just going to... I mean, I guess maybe we need them to not have an answer to Obliterator, and then we need to have another Obliterator. Oh, there goes our white mana. Rip. All right. But Obliterator's on offense and defense, so that's the kind of thing that might get there. Can't catch a break, though. Obviously, just path on top of their deck. Maybe they don't have a way to draw it yet. If they have land in hand, they do, and they have land from the graveyard, so they do. They have the perfect amount of mana to play land. Oh my gosh. Crack it to draw a card, draw the path our Obliterator. So that probably, if we were clinging to hope, that one probably does us in. Or it commits them to the Damnation. One of the two, right? I don't even know if we'd win against the Damnation. Oh, I'm sorry, with the Damnation. Their hand in the top of their deck, it's all just so stacked. The value they've got off where I'm going to have Excavator this game, just making a land drop and searching out their deck every turn has just been insane. Good for them. But this is what we played for. We've lived the maximum number of turns we can with this Liliana, and now we are praying to the top deck gods to deliver us a Damnation. Gray Merchant, not quite a Damnation. Would have been helpful earlier. I'll drain them for 4. Why not? No, this game sadly is quite over. They even exiled all of them, so we can't get anything with this. I'm going to go ahead and scoop because this game is just, they get a fetch, they get clues. We can't possibly get out of this lock. The Tireless Tracker, Crewfix to play lands off the top of their deck. Ramnak Excavator to get the fetch land out of the graveyard if they want it for a new shuffle effect. The Knight when they want to shuffle effect and more. The Tracker to draw cards off it all. We're good and dead. There you go. But that's the way it goes, everybody. Thank you for watching. I'm Corbin Hostler. Not as good of a showing as I might have hoped here with the Orzhov Devotion deck, given Ravnica Allegiance is coming out. But I do think it's a very powerful deck in Modern, if it did not quite work out this time. So everybody, have a happy new year. I hope 2018 was great for you. If it wasn't, I hope 2019 will be better. I'll be around quite a bit this year. I'm going to be streaming. You can find me on Twitch at chosler88, CHOSLER88, same as on Twitter. And if you just watch the YouTube videos every week or you just stumbled on this, thank you for watching. But if you'd like some more, I'm going to be streaming. So again, shout out to everybody at TCGplayer for letting me produce these videos, giving me a lot of support on the back end, all the graphics, everything you see as a result of some people working hard in the background. So thank you to all of them. Thank you to all of you for watching, and see you next year. Hello, everybody. Here is the deck tech for Orzhov Devotion. So this is a pretty sweet one. If you're watching this at the beginning of the video, thank you for watching. Thank you to the good folks at TCGplayer for allowing me to make these videos. Always got the shirt on, of course. Anyways, I love getting to make these videos, and here at the holidays too, the new year turning. It's just nice to look back and see what I've been able to do throughout this year and the last couple years doing this. And it's always appreciated. So truly, thank you for watching, whether you're catching this at the beginning, at the end, whether you're shaking your fist at me because the deck text at the end. I'm sorry, it's not my call. I don't even know what's better, but it's not my call. I apologize. But anyways, this is our deck. We are playing Orzhov Devotion. Hey, it's timely, right? Ravnica Allegiance Afterlife coming out. But this is, realistically, this is Mono Black Devotion with a twist. You get to kind of free roll the white with the Godless Shrines and the Marsh Flats, so you may as well. So I love this deck. Mono Black Devotion, both the white splash, which is important for the sideboard. But what that means we're doing is everything. We're doing all of it. Gray Merchant of Asphodel, the probably defining devotion card, I think, right? Maybe Nykthos. I don't know. Either way, when there's a battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is devotion to black. You gain life equal to life lost this way. A House and Commander, less good in Modern, but still pretty good against the aggro decks because we have a lot of devotion. We've got Phyrexian Obliterator, an absurd card in its own right, but 4 black mana symbols. We've got Liliana Tribal going on here. We've got 5 Lilianas in the deck. A ring to draw some cards, Same Nation to clear up the board. Of course, we've got Lingering Souls. That's how these decks work, and that's what the white is for, essentially, and it is worth it. 100%, there's nothing better in this deck. We've got Gifted Aetherborn, one of my favorite 2-drops, because of how unintimidating it is, and how, even in Standard for a long time, was sort of a forgotten draft card until we realized, oh, heck, turns out Death Touch is pretty good, and oh, Red's good, so Lifelink's good, and that's 3 toughness, and that's good. Yeah, Gifted Aetherborn, pretty good card all around, Standard and Modern, so love it here. Victim of Night, because why not? 2 black mana symbols. Destroy target non-werewolf, non-vampire, non-zombie. So everything else you'd expect, discard spells aplenty and fatal pushes. That is the deck. We've got white cards in the sideboard. Rest in peace, Stony Silence, Anguish of Making, and I love this one, Comball, the console of allocation. This is great against Storm. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, they lose 2 life, you gain 2 life. Great card there. Damping Sphere, Fulminator Mage, have a chance against Shran. That's the deck, everybody. Enjoy, or I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.